Welcome to CEC online lecture. I am Dr. Parveen Sharma. Today in this session I will be speaking to you on a very important topic, that is knowledge, concept, methods and educational implications. There are three important aspects of human life and development the philosophy is concerned with: ontology, epistemology and axiology. First, I will discuss with you in brief what do we mean by ontology and what do we study in ontology. This is concerned with the theory of being. It is concerned with the problem and nature of ultimate reality of life. It is related with metaphysics, which deal with the concepts like beyond physical reality, as who am I, who is God, where is God, and what is the purpose of life. Such kind of aspects are studied in this branch of philosophy that is named as ontology. And the second one branch of philosophy is epistemology. It deals with theory of knowledge. To find truth is the aim of knowledge. How can we discern the truth from falsehood? What are the methods of drawing the truth? Such kind of aspects are studied in this branch. Later on in this session only, I will be discussing in detail to you about this branch of philosophy. How do we know what is the method of gaining knowledge and what are the educational implications and so on. But before proceeding further, in brief, I would like to tell you about the third branch of philosophy, that is axiology. It deals with the theory of values. Here again, in this third part of philosophy, we deal with the three sub aspects in axiology. What are those? These are ethics, aesthetics and logic. In ethics, we study the moral conduct, behavior and character of an individual. And in aesthetics, we study the appreciation of beauty. But in the third one, that is the logic, we study the reasoning and mathematical or simple, like we can say the aspects like inductive and deductive reasoning. So when the inductive and deductive aspects come to the forefront, let me tell you, the inductive reasoning is where one tells to the listeners or the audience or the students first the examples, then rules are framed out. For example, a teacher is teaching in a class of English language and wants to teach the students about present continuous tense. First, the teacher will say, this is an example like she is writing. Then out of this example, teacher will say, in present continuous tense, we use is, am, are and ing with the first form of tense. But in the other, that is the deductive reasoning, here teacher first tells the rules that if we have to frame the sentences in present continuous tense, we use is, am, are and ing is used with first form of tense, and the example is she is writing. So these are the three branches of philosophy: ontology, axiomology and axiology. Further, we'll discuss in detail about epistemology. If before proceeding further, in general, I discuss with you what is the importance of knowledge. Knowledge plays a vital role in our day-to-day life. Suppose you have to take some decision, definitely you will have to gain knowledge. Suppose there is some debate and discussion is going on and you have to give your opinion about that event happening or whatever discussion is going on. You will have to gain knowledge so that you can give your opinion as it, and you can say it is the knowledge which shapes your personality. So we can say the more knowledgeable a person is, the more advantage you have over the other. I just want to say that knowledge is very important in our day-to-day life. And if further we proceed with our discussion, that is the epistemology and knowledge, its sources and other aspects. There are three terms which are interrelated. What are those? Information, knowledge and wisdom. Information is related to facts, and those facts can be qualitative as well as quantitative. But knowledge reflects truth about reality, and we call it vidya also. But if we talk about wisdom, wisdom is the outcome of the process of realization of reality related to life and universe, and relation between the two is also studied. It is based on information and knowledge. So wisdom comes when we combine the information and knowledge. Now here various questions come to the forefront when we discuss this aspect. What are those queries? Can we acquire real knowledge? What is truth? What is falsehood? And what are the sources of knowledge? What are the types of knowledge? And other queries which come before us are: what are the theories of knowledge? What are the methods of knowledge? And what are the educational implications of studying it? So today in our discussion we will be trying to throw light on these aspects one by one. Let us proceed. We'll see what are the definitions given by different philosophers and educationists. So we will discuss some of the definitions given by the great philosophers. First, I would mention the definition given by Russell. Russell said, knowledge is that which enlightens the human mind. Further, Professor J.M. George has said knowledge is an addition to our existing information and experience. If we proceed further, I will mention the definition given by William James. William James said, knowledge is another name to our practical achievement and success. And lastly, I would like to mention the definition given by Hobbes, that is, knowledge is power. So after discussing these few definitions, we can infer a discussion on the basis of these definitions, like knowledge is acquaintance, knowledge is ability to do something, and knowledge is propositional knowledge. So again, if I go further, what is acquaintance? Suppose I say I know Mr. Sharma, but if I want to know more and more information about Mr. Sharma, if he is an eminent person, I would like to draw more information about Mr. Sharma from the books or from the if he's an ordinary person or maybe an eminent person, we would like to gather more information from his colleagues, his friends, his neighborhood and so on. And when we say that knowledge is an ability to do something, it means when a person knows that skill, that's why he or she is practicing. So suppose we say that he is swimming, it means he knows how to swim. And if we talk about the propositional knowledge, that is when one say I know swimming. So these are some discussion on the basis of definition of knowledge. It means further we can say, if you want to have some understanding, awareness or familiarity about some facts, you will have to learn it through experiences, through education. So you will require education. We can say the understanding can be theoretical and practical as well, meaning by we can gain such kind of knowledge from theory. It can be theoretically, and you must have read about that person, that event, that happening. And practical means you have observed that happening, some event or some information about that person. And Plato has said that knowledge is justified, true and belief. Further, we can say in acquiring knowledge, cognitive process is used. Like, what are the steps in that process which are involved? That is perception, communication and reasoning. Try to understand, my dear friends. I want to say that when we proceed with the process of knowledge, what happens, how the process goes on. First we perceive, then we communicate, and then we reason out how to justify, how to get the truth behind it, how to discern the truth, and how to take it as a belief after justifying truth. Now, after knowing so much, let me discuss with you what is the importance of knowledge or this branch of philosophy. We can say knowledge is the third eye of man, meaning by when you have to deal with any occurring, any event, any person in day-to-day life, or specifically you will have to gain knowledge, you will require knowledge. Knowledge is virtue, and moreover it forms character. When through gaining knowledge you learn something, or you learn some moral values, or what we call in our language sanskars. So how do you inculcate those sanskars, those moral values in yourself or in your youngsters, in your students? So this is through knowledge only. Then it uncovers the mystery of world. As you go on studying, then step by step you will come to know that there is a large knowledge which you can explore more and more. So it means as you keep on studying, you come to know that I have to know more and more. It means knowledge is that which helps you to uncover the mystery of the world. So it is a means to reach the truth. How do you come to know that this is the truth? This is the truth, justified belief. So this is through knowledge only. And moreover, once acquired, it is always applied. It doesn't mean that once you gain knowledge and further you forget. It is not that. And its power, it has no limit. It is food of mind. As your body needs food, in the same manner your mind needs food. And what is the food? Knowledge is the food to mind. Knowledge is very important. So here I will discuss with you the forms of knowledge. There are three forms of knowledge. Knowledge in the form of information, knowledge in the form of knowing, and knowledge in the form of wisdom. So if we talk about knowledge in the form of information, it means it includes information related to object, place, event, things, economy, trade, environment, and so on. And these information can be qualitative as well as quantitative. And further, the second form is knowing. Knowledge in the form of knowing. What do we mean by it? Knowledge in the form of knowing. It means it is the second level. It is related to give meaning to the information. When you read some word, you try to assign some meaning to that word. Like when we assign meaning, mental changes and development is possible through this process. How mental development and cognitive development takes place when you assign words and meaning and relate to them each other. When we talk about knowledge in the form of wisdom, it comes after mental development and experiences. Wisdom is related to real experiences of life. This is the highest level of experience, highest level of knowledge, because when you combine knowledge and information, only then you can reach to the level of wisdom. That's why it has been called the highest level of knowledge. So wisdom is related to real life experiences. When you experience something yourself and you can verify that you have tested that knowledge, those information, it means that. And wisdom is when you gain something, when you learn something, and then you apply that information or that knowledge in your real life. Suppose when you were very small, your parents also and your teachers in the school also told you that honesty is the best policy, but when after becoming adult you step into the real life situation, into the real world, when you apply that concept of honesty in your real life situation, then it means as a wisdom or as a wise person, you have applied that knowledge into your wisdom, your real life situation. So these are three forms of knowledge. How this knowledge goes on? What is the nature of knowledge? Let me discuss with you the nature of knowledge. Knowledge is certain, meaning by after getting the information, when you have testified, it is knowledge. So knowledge is certain because knowledge can be tested. So we can say that knowledge is verifiable. Language is the vehicle of knowledge. How do we communicate the information and knowledge to next generation, to other person? Definitely we will require language. So that's why it has been said that language is the vehicle of knowledge. Further, thought is the raw material for knowledge. We need some raw material so that we can shape that information into our knowledge. And after this, I will like to discuss with you the types of knowledge. There are two types of knowledge. First type of knowledge is general type of knowledge. In general type of knowledge, we discuss two aspects, that is a priori knowledge and an empirical knowledge. Let me discuss with you what is priori knowledge. A priori knowledge is obtained by simply thinking. It is related to logic and mathematics. Suppose you say 1 plus 6 is 7, then you are not required to give any logic why 1 and 6 when added are come as a digit as a 7 number. It's simply applying your thinking. So we need not require to give any logic or verification. We can know that the total number of addition of 1 and 6 is 7, and this is the simple thing behind priori knowledge, because propositions, maxims and postulates belong to a priori knowledge. But if we talk about empirical knowledge, it is obtained by observation of external world, that is sense perception, and if we observe ourselves, that is introspection. So we can make observation both way, observation of the other person and observation of ourselves. Sensations are the sources of it. We take the help of senses to know about our surroundings and an individual. All kind of scientific knowledge come in this category, because in scientific knowledge, in experiments, we have observed the things, we have done the experiments. Under this category, according to Indian view, knowledge is of two types, that is Paravidya and Apravidya. Now, my dear friends, try to understand what is Paravidya and what is Apravidya. Paravidya is related to physical world, reasoning power, and 5 senses are used here. Apravidya is related to otherworldliness, spiritual in nature. It is related to self, soul, spirit and God and the relationship of self, soul, God and spirit. So this is the Aparavidya. Now in the general type of knowledge we have discussed the Paravidya and Aparavidya. Now let us see what is the specific type of knowledge. It is determined on the basis of sources. What are those sources? Let me discuss with you the sources or the types of knowledge in specific one. First is the authoritative. This knowledge originates from an authority or an expert or a specialized person in this field. All research knowledge is related to it because some person who is expert in this field has given you the knowledge, so you call is authoritative. Then the second one is empirical knowledge, that is perceptual. Here the knowledge is drawn through senses because you have perceived the things through your senses. That's why we call it perceptual knowledge, because you yourself have perceived the things, perceived the knowledge. And the third one is the rational knowledge. Here reasons and critical thinking is used. For example, if you say something, then or you give some statement, you have to prove, you have to give you reason why you believe this and why you are saying this. And the next one is the scientific knowledge. Here knowledge is gained through observation and experimentation. Further to scientific knowledge, there is the type of knowledge that is we know as pragmatic knowledge. Pragmatic knowledge is, here the knowledge gained is useful. This is personalized and helps in adjustment. Whatever information, whatever knowledge is gained here in this type of knowledge, that is of utility, that gives help in the life, and that also helps an individual in making adjustment. And when the word adjustments comes to the forefront, adjustment is a thing which one has to do all the time throughout the life, sometime to yourself, sometime to the society, sometime to your friend, and sometime to the other environmental situation. As these days, the country is going through the COVID-19, and everyone has to make adjustment to come out of this problem. So we have to make adjustment. That is the pragmatic knowledge. And the next is the intuitive knowledge. Subjective and spontaneous in nature is known as intuitive. Here no reason, no logic, no experiments, because here in this intuitive knowledge, the knowledge or the information come to you as a sudden flashing of light. The idea come into your mind. Here what happens, senses, observation and scientific verification and reason, they are not connected in intuitive knowledge. Now after this, I will discuss with you what are the sources of knowledge. The sources can be human self, cognitive process or external agent. Meaning by we can gain knowledge from the various sources. It can be your inner self, human self, your cognitive process or external agent. So we'll see one by one. First I'll discuss with you the senses. 5 senses are the sources of knowledge. All scientific knowledge or empirical draws through observation, and those experiences can be immediate and first-hand, real and concrete in nature. It is considered that knowledge will be comprehensive when the senses are involved in the process, because we have come to know after believing our senses. If we talk about reasoning, here one draws out the inferences on the basis of reasoning, and it is of 2 types, that is inductive and deductive. I have discussed with you already. In inductive reasoning, we move from examples to generalizations, and in deductive from generalizations to examples. Further, we talk about authority. It is related to authority or a specialist in a particular field of knowledge like economist, scientist, philosopher, psychologist or teacher. Whatever they say in their concerned field, it will be considered the final thought because they are the authority in their field, they are the expert or specialized person in that field. Now we talk about intuition. This type of knowledge is spontaneous and sudden. There is no connection of mind or sense. It can be revealed like a sudden message. Then revelation. We call it Shruti in a Hindi. Here one gains knowledge through some superpower like God. Knowledge contained in our Vedas or in our holy book is known as Shruti or revelation. We can call it a universal knowledge and it is not limited to time and space. Now we talk about faith. How do we gain knowledge from faith? Some knowledge we acquire because we have faith in it. We have no proof. No proof is required. We do something, we perform some action and we believe in that thought because we have faith in it. We are not supposed to give any proof regarding our faith. So, after discussing the concept, definitions, forms and sources of knowledge, I believe that it will be very helpful to know and will be very helpful for the audience that what are the branches of knowledge, and regarding the epistemology we have discussed in detail. Once again I am thankful to you.